well, if we sold our place, what could we get? Oh, we could look at that. It's got a swimming pool. My house doesn't have a swimming pool. It's got sea views. Oh, it's gorgeous. And yeah, you do just in your head, just go, oh yeah, this would be nice. Hey everybody, it's John Lamberton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode. Everybody, welcome to our now traditional summer special. A word of warning before we start. We are recording this 2 days. It is 2 days, isn't it?
2 days, yeah.
Yeah, 2 days before the Euro 2024 final, England versus Spain. We did toy with the idea of just recording 2 intros to this, saying, oh my God, it's finally come home. Well done, Gareth Southgate. You're an absolute genius. And another one saying, well, we all knew that was going to happen, didn't we? So just delete as applicable. Well done, England, or bloody hell, England. Same as usual. What's your thoughts been on the tournament from a business point of view?
From a business point of view, I'm still sat on the fence, to be honest with you. Because I'm not sure whether it's England or Spain. You know, it's obviously 2 days before. It's kind of, I don't know which way I'm going to support, in fairness. I know we're going to move on to why the Spain might be maybe a supporting thing.
Yeah, you're going to have the allegiances split there, aren't you?
From a business point of view, so far, I mean, he's been doing the business, hasn't he? That's the thing. He's done the minimum effective dose and got us through every game that needs to happen. And the minimum effective dose doesn't necessarily require pretty glamorous performance. It just needs to get the job done, and that's what happened all the way through the tournament until we get to 2 days' time, and we'll have to see whether. I mean, the last game, in fairness, the performance needed to be pushed up, and it was, and they did perform something a bit more prettier. But up until that point, it was just getting the job done, and sometimes we don't need the fanfare and hoo-ha and fireworks. You can just
which traditionally we've had with England. We've always been. We've had the best players in the world, and we've played with flair and passion and pride, and then we've crashed out to Iceland or wherever. But, I've been critical. I did a Monday morning motivation for the 1% Club a week or two ago, and I said, look, for me, Gareth Southgate has possibly been luckier than genius because I know I've actually got his book on the shelf behind me. I've got a signed copy of Anything is Possible by Gareth Southgate. And he talks in there about process over outcome. We follow the process regardless of the outcome. So I know he believes this stuff. But I then think, really, the process was to give Ivan Toney 90 seconds, was it? And then suddenly out of nowhere for Jude Bellingham to perform an overhead kick that somehow keeps us in the tournament when we were 90 seconds away from going out. Was that really the process? Sorry, I'm on my soapbox here again. You can do the right thing and get the wrong result. You can do the wrong thing and get the right result. Have we done the right thing throughout? Don't know. Have we got the right results? Yes. Absolutely. Results have been good. 0-0 against Slovakia.
Undefeated in the group stage.
Yeah, undefeated. And we've certainly learned under Gareth Southgate how to play tournament football. Apologies, by the way, for anyone who thinks, oh my God, why have this turned into a football podcast? Right, let's move off from football. Poker. I'm listening to the late, great Tony Hsieh's book, Delivering Happiness at the moment. Tony was the founder of Zappos.com, sold to Amazon for $1 gazillion back in the day. And he talked about the lessons he learned from poker, one of which was doing the right thing regardless of the outcome you get. And he said, once you know how to play poker and play it properly and effectively, if you are playing against players who don't know, it's like you've got a two-sided coin, heads or tails, but it lands on tails 2/3 of the time. He said, you back tails every time because 66.666% of the time you're going to win. But every now and then, 1/3 of the time it's going to land on heads. Does that mean you were wrong? Does that mean you made the wrong decision in backing tails? No. Do you let it affect you next time? Oh, it's landed on tails 5 times in a row. Oh, it's due to be heads. I should change. No, the correct thing to do is tails every time. I'm not convinced Gareth Southgate has got everything right here. I think he has been incredibly lucky. I think we've played some very, very not bad teams, but teams who we should beat comfortably, and we haven't beaten them comfortably. But we're in the final. Or, sorry, insert your own ending here. We've just won our first major tournament in almost 60 years. Or we got really close to winning our first major tournament in 60 years. So insert your own ending there. It's like a choose your own adventure book, isn't it?
It is a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Cool. So why are your allegiances split then between England and Spain?
I'm just looking at the possibility of spending a lot more time in Spanish control, shall we say?
Border control, passport control.
No, I'm looking at moving out into Fuerteventura. Is my North Star right now, and that's aiming to do that in the next 3 years. And make a switch. See what that looks like. Yeah.
Okay. Where's that come from then?
That's come from a lot of things, but the main thing I need in my life is change right now. And if I don't make a wholesale change, then I think change won't happen. So I'll fall into the old habits and the yes man that I am and want to be, and I need to kind of default to will stay, and it's tricky, but it's something I kind of need to do for myself, because I spend an awful lot of time doing lots of things for lots of different people, lots of different causes, charities, whatever it might be, but to spend a lot of time doing that, and I just need a little bit of a change. And spending a week in Fuerteventura seemed to be the idea that fueled it, really, more than anywhere else I kind of been. That's just somewhere I went, I really like it here, I could do this for a lot longer. But it's a pipe dream, as the mother-in-law says, but it's something that I find we can do, and Emma's aligned to the old idea of it. School and various other things aside, that's why it becomes a bit of a plan as opposed to we're just going to go and do it. But that's the thing. So looking to try before I buy, I think that's the thing. What does that look like? Because it's for me, every time we go on holiday, Emma always wants to move to wherever we are. We look at property, we look at things, and you kind of like fall in love with the holiday place that you've kind of gone to. And it's the same for lots of people. Everyone goes, oh, we can live here. Look, this is lovely. The sun's shining, the sea's there, the warm. We can swim every day. But I've never felt like that until this January's holiday to Fuerteventura. It was only a week, in fairness. So it's a big change in my mind, but it's the first place I've gone and said, I think I could settle here.
That is a big change, isn't it? Is that the first time you've been to Fuerteventura as well?
Yes. Done Tenerife,
we went to Lanzarote, but 7 days there, and then go, I could spend the rest of my days here.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. So I just feel that with that kind of pull, there must be something to it. So it's something that I would be on my deathbed regretting if I never give it the due process that I think it needs. So try before I buy. Looking at going out there for an extended period next year, early part of next year, in order to as someone put it, see whether I like myself enough to be able to go and spend a lot of time with myself, because I do a lot of things with a lot of people and see lots of people and all of that kind of stuff. It may be kind of a fairly lonely place, and I may not enjoy that part of it, especially if it's a 3-year plan until the family kind of join me. The other thing is it's a lot different being on holiday and working and doing all of that kind of stuff. There is that split between being away and on holiday and stuff, and whether that it feels like a permanent holiday, or whether or not the work bit does suffer, or whether it actually improves and that bit as well. So need to test that. Need to test whether it is the right place, because having spent a week there, it may not be at all. You do tend to have a very clouded view with sunglasses on and stuff becomes very cloudy, doesn't it? So you have a clouded view as to what it could be
That's
like.
what you're drinking as to how cloudy it gets, I think.
There is that element too, yeah. And obviously, I don't want to go out there and just drink every night in the bar and stuff. It's just got to be, has to be that work versus, the living versus holidaying mode needs to kind of very much switch. And I think an extended period of, a couple of months or whatever will help with that. To make that decision, whether it's that or whether it's just a long holiday, kind of thing, really. So try before we buy. Next year, looking to spend a bit more time. And then have a look at what visas and stuff mean for next year, and then the year after, look and see what that means for the family and things.
Yeah, it's interesting. You said the mother-in-law said it's a pipe dream, because I think a lot of people have this pipe dream, and I've done it. You go to a place and you go, "Oh, this is lovely. Oh, look, there's an estate agent's window. Let me just have a look. Oh, well, if we sold our place, what could we get? Oh, we could look at that. It's got a swimming pool. My house doesn't have a swimming pool. It's got sea views. Oh, it's gorgeous. And you do just in your head, just go, oh yeah, this would be nice. But most people don't act on that, don't do anything. I know we've had conversations, crikey, 20 years, do you reckon? When you've talked about emigrating or getting out there. I think we've talked about certainly Spain, mainland Spain before, I think. France. Various options, I think. But it's always been, and I don't want to say disparagingly pipe dream, but it has always been just a talking point. Oh, that would be nice. We're going to do that one day. And I think when you first said Fuerteventura, my gut reaction was, oh, that's just the next destination. You've had a nice holiday, and you're like, oh, that'd be nice. I could live there. Lovely. But then that didn't go away, did it? That kind of became, no, I'm serious about this. I've looked at, Tenerife, I've looked at Lanzarote, I've looked at the different Canary Islands. Yeah, this is the one for me. I really, really liked it. I'm going to join some expat forums or something. I'm really going to do the research to find out the logistics of it. And I think, it probably helps that we've had a lot of guests on this podcast who have done exactly that. They've upped sticks and they've moved to a different country. They are running a UK business from a different country. They've been there, they've done that, and we've grilled them on it and gone, so how did you make it work? What didn't work for you? I know certainly a lot of the guys we've talked to who've gone to Spain, they said, one of the biggest problems there was when friends and family come to visit, they're on holiday and you're at home working or trying to work, but they want to go out drinking every night. They want to go to the tourist spots. They want to splash around in your pool all day long. Whereas what you want to do is probably have a quiet dip after you've got your day's work done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's as I say, I've always looked at actually abroad being as an option. Lots of different countries and things like that, and I'm not necessarily set on Fuerteventura. That's the one that's given me the strongest pull, if you like. But there is a few other places. We're obviously not long come back from Corfu, so the Greek kind of idea that wasn't for me. It wasn't. It was like, no, Ollie would love me to go to Corfu, and that's where we kind of settled down. But it
just remind our listeners how old Ollie is.
Ollie went off to Cavos. This will give you an indication of kind of age group he's in. He went off to Cavos for the night and spent it on the beach. And then I went and picked him up at 6 o'clock in the morning because he didn't find a way back. We were staying in the north of the island. He couldn't find his way back, so I had to go and pick him up. He's 19, so bless him. But he went there on a lad's holiday last year, so that kind of explains the differences. I think it was the reason why perhaps there wasn't a pull there. Lovely place, lovely people, great island, great food, great accommodation, that kind of stuff. That was all good, but I just didn't feel that pull. So as I went to Fuerteventura, I like to try Portugal. Lots of our clients come from Portugal. There's a few people living here that were from Portugal, and they've suggested that maybe there's an option there. Obviously, Brexit is an important thing there as well. We haven't got free movement anymore, so therefore we need to work through what visas and things are required to stay there for outside of the Schengen 90-day allowance kind of thing. So there's lots of things that are there now because, there are further restrictions and stuff may change by the end of the 3 years. Who knows with new governments and things like that? But we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. But looking at it is interesting because each country's got a different visa scheme that I can use or utilize to get into the countries and stuff. So it'd be interesting. As I say, got to do a little bit more research on that as to which country, which scheme is better for the situation or whatever. But
I like the fact. Well, you've almost gone and found that minimum effective dose. I'm throwing my pen around here. Okay, let's go out there. How long are you going to spend out there next winter? Do you think?
It's going to be 6 to 7 weeks. I think that's the thing. Okay. So a lot longer than the 2-week holiday or 3-week holiday.
That forces you to get out of holiday mode. So when I was 17, I did, I think, 8 weeks in Portugal. I spent it in Lisbon. And the first 2 weeks, you're just in holiday mode. You're just like, oh, look, it's sunny. Look, I'll go and have a beer. I'll get some ice cream. Pastel de nata. Yes, absolutely. But then beyond that, it does just become, this is home. I'm on the commute to work. Yes, I'm going under the 25th of April bridge. I still don't. My Portuguese does not stand up after. Crikey, 30 years. I'm not that old. 30 years since I've been there. But it forces you out of holiday mode, and you are going to be there. As you said, you're going to figure out whether you like yourself enough or you like your own company enough, because you are a very social person. And, being around people has almost been a mainstay of as long as I've known you. So I know I experienced that when I was in Portugal, because I was 17 years old and I was staying with a Portuguese family. At the time, there was one other person staying with us who I'd met 4 weeks earlier, but he ended up flying home halfway through. So I was on my own in Portugal for 8 weeks. And by the end of it, I was incredibly homesick and incredibly lonely because I was in a foreign country with no one. And this was obviously pre-internet time, so I couldn't jump on a FaceTime call with anyone. I couldn't go on social media and find out what anyone was up to. My correspondence with my parents even was by letter and fax machine. And I remember, going to a payphone maybe once a week and spending a few escudos, as it was. It was even pre-Euros. I'm really dating myself here, aren't I? But it was very, very lonely. Obviously, you're going there now, but you can consciously put scaffolding in place so that, you can ensure you've still got your support networks there. You've still got social elements. You've got the option that I didn't have when I was 17 and absolutely penniless you can just jump on a Ryanair flight home or an EasyJet flight home for probably 50 quid return and you're back in the UK. Mm-hmm. You've got those options. So I love the fact you can go there, you can test the water, you can dip your toe in the water and find out, is living abroad for you? Is Fuerteventura for you? There will be elements of what you do that won't work. There'll be elements of what you do that you absolutely love, but it's then just iterating it and going, okay, that's next winter, 2025. Then what does 2026 look like? Well, it might be another try before you buy, but you might be trying a different country or a different setup or a different time of year. You may, because the other thing you're going to do there is you're probably going to meet some expats who've made this leap. They've got the blueprint. They've done it. They did it 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And they'll say, oh, yeah, it's lovely here, but oh my God, don't stay here in August. Because in August, all the Brits come and it's terrible and they overrun. Or, it gets touristy, but we escape to the north of the island. Or, we go over here when that happens.
Go home for Christmas because you won't want to be here because it's busy.
I know a lot of the mainland Spain people have said, Spain's lovely, but in the summer it's too hot. So we all go to cooler climates in the summer. And that's something that as Brits we think, well, no, you head for the sun in the summer, don't you? Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
What have you picked up then, tips and tricks from either what you've researched so far or from conversations we've had with 1%ers and other guests?
I think in terms of living there and working and stuff, or what do you mean, sorry?
Anything. anything for listeners who might be thinking, who've got that pipe dream at the moment. They are maybe listening to this on holiday somewhere in the world and thinking, yeah, I could live here.
Oh, that's a really tricky one, isn't it? Because I say everybody has that pipe dream, and everybody goes on holiday and finds that place and stuff.
What's the first step then? What would be the first thing they could do?
I think you've got to have that draw, in fairness. So it's that emotional tie, the thing that I said, the pull back to Fuerteventura as being the place. You've got to have that. You've got to have the buy-in from your family, obviously, because that's going to take a lot. And luckily, Emma was like, "Yeah, I could do this too," which is great. Got a few things I need to sort out. There's that's to say there's a roadmap for that, but you've got to kind of have that buy-in too from your support.
So serious discussions with the vested parties, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. That's it. And, whether that's, through work or whether that's home or whether that's family, whether that's whatever, it's got to be right, isn't it? Say, what's the next step from that pipe dream to let's look and see what the reality could look like, is then looking to see what I think working out for us, it's what does the post-Brexit bit mean? What does the visa stuff situation look like if we were going to live there for any length of time? People winter in the sun, winter in the sun sort of thing. Well, that's okay, but you can only do that for 90 days out of the 180. So if you were thinking of something longer, what does that visa look like? It's the legality part, I think, and what other stuff do we need to do? What insurances do we have to have in place? Because you've got to have your private medical insurance. And I guess the biggest obstacle or the biggest tick, I guess, for the trying is your finance. What does that look like? How does that get right? And actually, can you still do that? And obviously, try before you buy is an incredibly expensive way of doing it, because you've got to keep home as home, especially if you're not taking them and you're still keeping them with food and shelter, and then trying to set up a second set of food and shelter. So finance and working out what that needs to look like.
But it's a lot cheaper than making a big mistake and I hate it here and I've sold my house.
Very, 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 very much so. Yeah, try before you buy is definitely the way to do it, and to love it. And I think for me, it's the not 2 weeks try before you buy. It's not, and even a month's try before you buy is still a holiday, isn't it? It can still be a long holiday, a month away.
And you're fortunate in the way our business is set up that you can just up laptop and plug it in as long as it's 240 volts or whatever.
Yeah,
you got your adapter there. You don't blow up your laptop, but you can just work from anywhere in the world. A lot of businesses can't just, I'm going to take 7 weeks and work from a different country because I've got an office or I've got a shop front or I've got actual physical premises that I need to manage. But everything of that is logistics. There's a problem to be solved there. One of the first things you picked up on there was, well, what about the ties at home?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, my dad always talked about New Zealand. Right, we're going to emigrate to New Zealand, but we can't because my nan was in this country. She wasn't going to move. My mum wouldn't go to the other side of the world because my nan was there, and I know I live around the corner from my mother-in-law, so that's as far away as I'm allowed to go. Hello, Sarah. But that is a conversation to have, and that's where I think that first step of just speak to the person it's going to affect the most, your loved ones, your partners, your children, and then go, and it will be, but what about X? What about Y? Well, don't know. We don't know what to do with it. There's a problem to solve, and we'll either solve it or we won't. But either way, and you might not know this by this time next year, we'll find out in next year's summer special. We're suddenly like, who's this very, very tanned person I'm talking to?
Is there waves crashing behind you, Jason?
Every summer special week, where's Jason this year? But you may not find out if it is for you and if Fuerteventura is for you by next year, but you'll know more than you do now, and you already know more than you did 3 months ago, and you knew more then than you did when you were in Fuerteventura, which was just, this would be nice.
Mm. Yeah, definitely, and I was recently with other things that's happening is kind of lots of bridges to cross, and that's what we've got, lots of bridges to cross, and each one will take us a bit further along that journey. Really,
Fuerteventura is an island, so it needs a very, very long bridge, either from North Africa or southern Spain, I guess, or southern Portugal. You can probably get there as well via the Azores.
Yeah,
There we
no,
go.
it definitely figures a kind of Morocco thing. Let's just have a quick 90-mile bridge from Morocco or something like that.
Oh, dear. Hey, Emma can go shopping in Morocco. Be sorted. Get her in the souks.
let's not put any downside to going to full.
Oh dear! I told you, you are replacing horses with camels. That's the danger you're going into here.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, no, exciting times, and yeah, lots of things to think about, and as you say, lots of potential barriers, lots of hurdles and things like that. But we'll have a look. We'll try it before we buy, see what it looks like, and yeah, as you say, lots of inspirational people in our world in the 1% group and things which either have done it or will do it or are now thinking about doing it. So actually, yeah, it's a good project to kind of share with the 1%ers and yeah, our dear listeners now.
It is interesting. Obviously, you are chasing your ambitious lifestyle business there, and that's the key thing. Is everyone listening to this may be listening to this in Fuerteventura right now and going, I don't like this place. It's not for me.
Do make a comment on YouTube.
But yeah, and for me, I don't want to emigrate, but I do want to spend more time wintering abroad. So it's iterating and finding what's right for you. And every interview we do on this podcast, there will be elements of that you think, oh, that's not what I want. But it's adapting and finding the bits and the principles that you do want. So yeah, the idea of spending more time abroad really resonates with me. Fine. How do I make that happen? As I said, I don't want to emigrate, but I do want to spend more time there. So let's reverse engineer how to make that happen. You mentioned hurdles, challenges just now. There's been a few of them for our 1%ers this year, hasn't there?
So
the general themes this year.
Second, sorry.
So far this year.
Cost of living is one of the things from both the 1%ers point of view, but also from their clients' point of view as well, and the people that they're servicing. It's obviously cost of living is a big one, and that's been just growing over the period. It kind of, when we first heard about it in the media, it was kind of it's this thing that's going to bite us on the bum. Well, it is turning around to biting lots of people on the bum at different times. Normally, particularly when their mortgages are coming up, I guess is the toughie when there's an extra £500 to find every month for mortgages and stuff. So that kind of stuff. Fuel prices, obviously that's been a major squeeze. All been engineered by the big companies to make sure they get lots of profits, and us people are paying for it. Water bills, that's just happened just recently, isn't it? Yeah, lots of money related stuff, I guess is fair to say.
Yeah, what's the answer? Is it just emigrate and move to a different country?
Well, you know what, it does. I mean, I am sure there are challenges in other countries too, but we do seem to be squeezed a lot in our country by a lot of different people, and not that many big people, to be fair, just a few at the top.
Yeah, I think the cost of living is definitely the big pressing issue that I think everyone has experienced in some way this year. Everyone's tightening their belts. As you said, there's been a huge lag because, inflation, the rampage on inflation started 2.5 years ago. And it has taken that little while. And obviously when you look at the economics of it, and lots of people on fixed rate mortgages where deals didn't expire. I'm still on a fixed rate deal. I've still got another 10 months left on my deal. I'm one of a few that have a long fixed deal still to expire. But when interest rates go up, it used to feed through immediately and now it doesn't. And so there is this lag. And I think people are just really feeling it now. And I think consumers are taking, they are more price sensitive. I think you really, really need to clearly demonstrate value on pricing now. I think pricing is ever more important because you need to justify your prices. Some products, some services may be able to withstand a 20% increase, and others are anchored psychologically a lot more. We went for a meal at the hotel earlier in the week, didn't we? And I balked and went, £5 for a side of vegetables. And it's just, they've probably marginally put the prices up the same as they've put up the rump steak or the filet mignon. It's like, great, the mains, I accept that's now £32, but you put the sides up by the similar percentage, and I go, ooh, that seems a lot for just a few vegetables. And I think, yeah, you need to be very, very careful. I know I've cut back on stuff where I just say, I'm not paying that. And it's not so much I can't afford to pay that. It's more, I refuse to pay that. That seems extortionate. And if you were to really grill me and ask why, I was like, I don't really know. It's just a gut feeling that that's too much. I think business to business decisions price is more of a factor than it used to be. Decisions are taking longer to be made. And just overall, there is lower consumer confidence. I think we've seen it throughout the year, but probably I would say peaking in the last quarter, would you say?
Yeah, definitely.
The thing to remember with this is that this is what happens with economies. They ebb and flow. And so interest rates, there is certainly a feeling that they have peaked, and that is a historical have peaked.
Mm-hmm.
They will come down. When that is, hey, this is a summer special. It might happen this month. It probably isn't going to happen this month. Sorry. But it will come down. And at some point in the future, we're going to be back in boom times. And everyone's going to be making money hand over fist. And the economy is cyclical. This always happens. The key thing is almost surviving these tough times and anticipating when better times are coming. Morgan Housel talks about this brilliantly in Psychology of Money, also his latest book, Same as Ever. He talks about our natural, so right now when things are bad, we ignore any good news. And all of those little green shoots that are showing, such as interest rates have peaked. I fixed my gas and electricity prices 2 weeks ago at a lower rate than I fixed them 12 months ago. I'm now paying less for my energy than I was 12 months ago. But we ignore those good news pieces because things are terrible, things are bad. And then when things get good, we ignore the bad news and we assume that the good news is going to carry on forever. And so this plays out in about a 15-year loop on repeat every time. So really, I guess our main advice for you is be clever with your pricing. Clearly demonstrate the value that you give. There are markets who are less sensitive to pricing and less sensitive to cost of living issues. But if you can survive this period, good times are coming, and just start to notice those green shoots, those little bits of good news a little bit earlier.
That positivity I think helps too, doesn't it? It's a lot all doom and gloom, and I think when you're thinking about what your pricing structure is, you go doom and gloom, or they won't pay that, and and all of a sudden you depress yourself and your products, it just becomes sort of the marketing messages isn't as positive as it could be. There's a lot to be said about just looking for those green shoots and keep going for looking for that within your business area. Well, that is not to say there isn't bad stuff too, but actually it's really hard to look at the positives when you're feeling down. And if you have need another little tool there to kind of help you with that, reflect. I think reflect is really positive in terms of looking back to where you are. Looking back from where you've been, to where you are now and how you've kind of got to there. And then you can recognize that loop that John was talking about. Being near loop or thereabouts, you'll recognise actually this is nothing I haven't dealt with before. This is no trickier than it was in 2008 or 9 or wherever that bit you on the bum. And actually, we've ridden that wave. We've taken that out. This is how I coped with that. This is how I can cope with this. Here's what coming out of it looked like for us. This is what I wish I'd done when we were coming out of it. When I spotted those first few sheets, this is what I would have really liked to have done it then. Here's the marketing campaign I wish I had run. Those kind of things, when you can reflect back, you can then make yourself come out of this better, quicker, easier, even more profitable when at the end of this period,
Yeah. There is a quote in Morgan Housel's book, and it's from Napoleon, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but it is something Napoleon. About the genius is the average man who could continue to do the average thing while everyone around him is losing their heads. And that, I think, applies now more than ever. If you can do the right thing, and we hark back to Gareth Southgate, is he doing the right thing? If you can follow the right process whilst people are throwing beer cups at you and chanting you don't know what you're doing, and you have the wherewithal to just stick to your guns, follow the process, knowing what's coming, then maybe, just maybe, you can dream. And it might be coming home. But it probably didn't.
I love your optimism, John. It's good.
I love why people are going to be listening to this 3.5 weeks after the final and going, why are they still talking about this as if it didn't happen?
Because it hasn't. Yeah. Magic podcast.
What a game that was, though.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Well, that's the end of our summer special, John, isn't it?
It is, I believe. We'll be back to normal service. Will be resumed next month. 1% Club doors will obviously be open in September. We're going to be chatting to a 1%er who's been with us for about a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
And also looking at doing more stuff outside of the UK. So there's some definite threads we've pulled on there today.
There is indeed. Thank you very much. Take care. And see you in the next episode.
Ta-ra. See you later. So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.